Hey everyone! This is AK Coder and welcome to the Intermediate Python series. Here's some general information about this course. In this Intermediate Python course, you will learn a little more advanced topics in Python. Some of the concepts that you will learn include functions, classes, decorators, and lots more. Episodes will be about 5 to 20 minutes long. Let's get started! In this episode, I will first show you a quick tour on how to set up our Python editor, which will be REPL.it. After that, we will learn about functions. So let's get started! Now let's move on to setting up our Python editor. I will show you a quick tour of how to create an account on REPL.it. If you already have an account, you can fast forward this part of the episode. Now that you have created your REPL.it account, you're all set to get coding. Next, let's move on to functions. So what are functions? Functions are blocks of reusable code. They're used to organize code when many lines of code are used in a project. Every function has an input and an output. You call the functions in order to use them. So now let's take a look at an example of a function. Here's a basic example of a function. So first, you have to define the function. So start off with the word def. Then enter your function name. In this example, I just named my function as function. After the name of your function, you need a set of open and close regular parentheses. This parentheses will be used for parameters, as we will learn later, and to call the function. After the set of regular parentheses, you need your colon, just like you need in other loops. Then, it automatically indents for you, and here's where you can type in your code that you want to reuse. In this example, we're just doing a quick example. So I just did print hello world. Then come out of the function, and then here's how to call your function. So you need your function name, which in this case is just simply function, and then a set of open and close regular parentheses. So when you run this code, it's going to print hello world in the console. You can call this function as many times as you want. Now I'll show you how to create a basic function in the REPL.it project. So after you create a new project, by clicking on plus new REPL, and then clicking on Python and naming your REPL, you can get to this screen. Now inside this area where you type in your code, first we type in def, because first we need to define the function. So def, and then name your function. I'm just going to name it random func. Then you need your parentheses. After the parentheses, put a colon, press enter, and it automatically indents for you. Here you can type in whatever code you want. You can type in as much lines of code you want and whatever code you want. So I'm just going to type some random code. So now we have our random function with random things inside of it. Now let's call our function. So come out of the function and then type in the function name, which in this case is random func. And then you need your parentheses. And when you run this code, it prints out whatever you typed in inside the function in the console. Next, we'll learn about parameters and arguments in functions. So first, let's learn about parameters. So parameters are temporary variables inside the parentheses of a function. You may want to use this code for multiple things. To defining something as a variable or placeholder will help it to make it easier when you want to put the actual value inside later. Arguments are the values that you enter in the parentheses when calling the function. So some examples of arguments include strings, lists, integers, booleans, sets, and more. So now let's take a look at parameters and arguments actually used in a function. So here's an example. So first I defined my function, so def, and then I had the name of my function, which is add, because I'm going to make an adding function that adds two numbers. Then I put in my parentheses, and inside the parentheses we had two parameters. So one is num1 and the second one is num2. So these two parameters are the temporary variables. They're temporary because you can only use these parameters inside of this function. You can't use it outside of the function. Then I put a colon, pressed enter, and it indented, and then I said print num1 plus num2. So what this will do is whatever value entered for num1 and num2 will get added and printed on the console. Then I came out of the function, and then now I'm calling the function. So to call a function, I need my function name, which is add, and then a set of regular parentheses. And now I have to enter in values for the parameters. So these are the arguments. So for num1, I entered 1, and for num2, I entered 3. So what this will do is it's going to print num1, which is 1, and num2, which is 3, so 1 plus 3 is 4. So it's going to print out 4 in the console. Now let's create a function with parameters and arguments in our REPL.it project. This time, I'm going to make a multiplying function. So first you start off with def, and then the name of your function. So I'm going to name it multiply. Then you need your parentheses, and then your parameters. So I'm just going to enter in num1, comma num2. So num1 and num2 are my parameters. Then I need my colon, and then I'm going to press enter, and here's where I'm going to type in my code. So this time I'm going to do print num1 times num2. Note that I'm using an asterisk for the multiplication sign. Then I'm going to come out of the function, and now I'm going to multiply some numbers. So multiply, which is the name of the function, and then a set of regular parentheses, and I'm going to multiply the numbers 5 and 6. So when we run this code, it prints out 30 because 5 times 6 is 30. So you can call this function how many ever times you want. So I'm just going to copy this 5 times, and I'm going to put in random numbers. So now I'm going to run this code, and now it multiplied all of these numbers. So 5 times 6 is 30, 7 times 6 is 42, 8 times 9 is 72, 10 times 11 is 110, and 11 times 5 is 55. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button and leave a comment regarding this episode so that I'll know how to make future episodes. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you'll know when future courses are released. See you in the next video!